Hi guys, welcome to another audio video, and I'll be reading Judges 7 of the King James Version Bible, and it reads, Then Jerubbaal, who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him rose up early and pitched beside the well of Harod, so that the host of the Midianites were on the north side of them, by the hill of Moreh in the valley. And the Lord said unto Gideon, The people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, Mine own hand hath saved me. Now therefore go to, proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, Whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And there returned the people 22,000, and there remained 10,000. And the Lord said unto Gideon, The people are yet too many, bring them down unto the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be, that of whom I say unto thee, This shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee, and of whomsoever I say unto thee, This shall not go with thee, the same shall not go. So he brought down the people unto the water, and the Lord said unto Gideon, Every one that lappeth in the water with his tongue, as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise every one that boweth down upon his knee to drink. And the number of them that lapped, putting their hand in their mouth, were 300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees and drink water. And the Lord said unto Gideon, By the 300 men that lapped will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand, and let all the other people go, every man unto his place. So the people took victuals in their hand, and their trumpets, and he sent all the rest of Israel, every man unto his tent, and retained those 300 men, and the host of Midian was beneath him in the valley. And it came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, Arise, get thee down unto the host, for I have delivered it into thine hand. But if thou fear to go down, go thou with Phurah thy servant down to the host. And thou shalt hear what they say, and afterward shall thine hands be strengthened to go down unto the host. Then went he down with Phurah his servant unto the outside of the armed men that were in the host. And the Midianites and the Amalekites and all the children of the east lay along in the valley like grasshoppers for multitude, and their camels were without number, as the sand of the sea side for multitude. And when Gideon was come, behold, there was a man that told a dream unto his fellow, and said, Behold, I dreamed a dream, and lo, a cake of barley bread tumbled into the host of Midian, and came unto a tent, and smote it, that it fell, and overturned it, that the tent lay along. And his fellow answered and said, This is nothing else save the sword of Gideon the son of Joash, a man of Israel, for into his hand hath God delivered Midian, and all the host. And it was so, when Gideon heard the telling of the dream, and the interpretation thereof, that he worshipped, and returned into the host of Israel, and said, Arise, for the Lord hath delivered into your hand the host of Midian. And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies, and he put a trumpet in every man's hand, with empty pitchers, and lamps within the pitchers. And he said unto them, Look on me, and do likewise. And behold, when I come to the outside of the camp, it shall be that, as I do, so shall ye do. When I blow with the trumpet, I and all that are with me, then blow ye the trumpets also on every side of all the camp, and say, The sword of the Lord and of Gideon. So Gideon and the 100 men that were with him came unto the outside of the camp in the beginning of the middle watch, and they had but newly set the watch. And they blew the trumpets, and brake the pitchers that were in their hands. And the 3 companies blew the trumpets, and brake the pitchers, and held the lamps in their left hands, and the trumpets in their right hands to blow withal. And they cried, The sword of the Lord and of Gideon. And they stood every man in his place round about the camp, and all the host ran and cried and fled. And the 300 blew the trumpets, and the Lord set every man's sword against his fellow, even throughout all the host. And the host fled to Bethshittah in Zerah. What am I saying? Zerah. Sorry, guys. Zerah, and to the border of Abel Meholah unto Tabbath. And the men of Israel gathered themselves together out of Naphtali, and out of Asher, and out of all Manasseh, and pursued after the Midianites. And Gideon sent messengers throughout all Mount Ephraim, saying, Come down against the Midianites, and take before them the waters unto Bethbarah and Jordan. Then all the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together, and took the waters unto Bethbarah and Jordan. And they took 2 princes of the Midianites, Oreb and Zeb. And they slew Oreb upon the rock Horeb, and Zeb they slew at the winepress of Zeb, and pursued Midian, and brought the heads of Oreb and Zeb to Gideon on the other side Jordan. Alright guys, so here we are in another chapter, and we see where God has actually started his work in Gideon. Okay, so he used Gideon to devise a way of showing himself as God, because there were many Israelites. So what he did was, he didn't want it to seem as if it was the might of the men that actually caused them to actually win the battle. He wanted to ensure that everyone knew that it was not for the men, for the number of men, but only because God was with them why they actually prevailed. And so he devised a way to basically reduce the number of men that would actually go out on the forefront, okay, and to actually pursue after the Midianites. And so it was that he did that, and that just goes to show, the power of God, and that he's capable of anything, and he will do anything he has to do for his people, and he will always be glorified. He should always be exalted in everything that we do, okay? And we should allow for him to take the credit, and not try to take credit unto ourselves, because we're humans and it's our nature to want to be praised for things that we do, and that is not how God wants it to be. God wants us to give him the glory, and it is in giving him the glory that we also will be exalted. And I think that a lot of us fail to understand that concept, that it is not through us being exalted that will be known, okay? It is exalting God. When we exalt God above everything, that is how we will become renowned people, because we aren't the ones that deserve the glory. We're only mere instruments for him to use. And so it's just like a trumpet, okay? The trumpet is the instrument, right? Let's not say trumpet, a saxophone, right? A saxophone is the instrument, and the saxophonist plays the saxophone, okay? But here's the thing, the saxophone cannot be played without the saxophonist. And even if you have a musician, saxophonist, that will actually be using the saxophone unless that person is skilled in using that saxophone. Then you will not get melodic sounds from that saxophone, but you'll actually get just sounds, and it will be annoying, especially if that person is terrible and have no skill at all, no musical skills at all. So think of yourself as the saxophone, and think of God as the musician, the saxophonist, and He is the one that is in control. And it is through that where we can actually appreciate the music that comes through the saxophone. That is what God is to you, and what you are to God, and what you ought to allow yourself to be to God. Not try to be a saxophone that plays itself, because you cannot play yourself, as I just showed you in that analogy. Okay, you cannot play yourself. You have to have a musician, you have to have a trained musician that will actually play you to the rhythm and to the melody that you ought to be played to, so that you can actually have a beautiful sound coming from that instrument. Allow yourselves to be instruments of God. That is what I want to tell you from this chapter here. Alright guys, so guys, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification so you're alerted to whenever a new audio video is posted. And guys, please don't forget to leave your comments, any revelations you may have, and any concerns you may have also down below in the comment section. Okay, and please feel obliged to leave me a message through my IG. Okay, yes, you can hit me up. Okay, and if you have any questions, if you don't want to put them out in the public's eye, then you can definitely hit me up on the link down below in the description. Okay, the link is down there for my IG. So yeah, and almost everybody that's on this are people I know, so they already have it. But I'm just saying, if you're new and you don't know me or anything, you just heard the word and you want to ask a question, you have a question you want to ask, you want to get to know God more, then that's what that is down there for you. Okay, guys, I'm gonna leave you right here, but please remember to keep your salvation, and if you've not yet gained it, seek it. There's no better time than now to start. Okay, have yourselves a blessed day. Bye.